Hello, and welcome to the second episode of the Think Tank podcast. I'm Ashna Arora.
I'm Meher Bhatt.
I'm Omisha Prabhu.
And I'm Shaurya Jain.
And as we are on the crux of stepping out into the real world, I feel like it's absolutely essential that we decide our career choices and we focus on them. Okay, my first question to you all is, do you think traditional career choices can still be implemented in this modern society?
I think to an extent, yes. I feel like we have, for me personally, I would say that ever since I was a child, I have really been into storytelling.
Yeah.
I love to tell stories, and this reminds me of a particular quote by Seth Godin, who said that marketing nowadays is not just about the stuff you sell, it's about the stories that you tell. And I think that really resonates with me because I want to convert and evolve my passion of storytelling into a career in marketing. So I think somewhere traditional careers are now changing. I think people are using those traditional careers, but in a way that they can exemplify their passion in a better way.
You know, I feel like I agree with you completely on
Yes.
that, but I also feel like we are heading towards a society where we cannot afford to have only engineers, doctors, and
Absolutely.
scientists. Because there are so many other dimensions to explore. For example, sports, performing arts, the creative side. Like, what's your view on this?
Especially with our economy right now, India's economy is growing rapidly.
Yeah.
And with this growth, there's also new demand, increasing demand for a variety of different careers, which are not what we have grown up with. Like, it's changing every day. There's so many new careers and we have so many options. There are things we've not even heard of before, and people are still being employed in that.
Yeah, I feel that making the right choice when it comes to choosing a career is very, very important. And that all roots from the decision that you make right now. So for me, sports is my passion. I've been playing cricket practically since I was born. And I've been getting into squash as well recently. So that is what I've been looking forward to.
That's absolutely lovely. And to add on to your point about, new careers coming up, have you all heard about content creation?
Yes.
That is an absolutely new concept. Because in the 1900s, you would have never thought that, oh, this is a career.
Yeah.
And now people are making money. People are reaching out. People are spreading awareness through that. And also, I think there's a new job about doom scrolling or something. Yeah.
So I recently heard that a company, or many companies actually, have started hiring doom scrollers professionally.
Oh?
Yes, like something that I never would have imagined. And I think it's something that we have been doing for free all this while. But I think it's really nice to see careers that are evolving in a way that people would have never thought of.
Yes.
People are using what they like to make a living. And I think that it's really empowering. And I think it is such an encouragement for other people to follow their passion and make a living out of it.
All these passions are in some sort affected by our hobbies, by what we do in life. My question to you all is, what lights you up? What, if you had one day off, no school, no rules, what would you do?
So I am a very creative person. So I enjoy doing lots of arts and crafts. Like, I like making handmade gifts and handmade things. I also enjoy, coming up with new ideas, new concepts. I love reading and writing. And I absolutely love watching movies and series. So I feel like if I had a day off from everything, I would spend majority of it watching something or just, entertaining myself. Yeah.
I think I would spend the entire day listening to music. I absolutely love listening to music. And I think I would sit down with just a notepad and a pen and just start writing and just let my imagination run wild. I think storytelling is something that I love. I cannot stop doing it. And I think I would just spend the entire day penning down my thoughts.
On that note, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Because I am a dancer and I absolutely love dancing, and due to certain circumstances, I haven't been, properly dance in a while. But you give me a day off, I'm dancing and I'm also writing. Like Omisha said, give me a room, get me a cup of coffee, I'll hide in there all day. What about you, Shaurya?
Other than doom scrolling, I think, as I said, I love cricket. Whenever I go down to play cricket in my building, those 2 hours are the time I look most forward to. So I think I would spend my entire day just being down playing cricket.
whole, sports, performing arts, since it's a new concept that has been, slowly accepted into our society, support is what drives it. Be it parents, be it mentors, be it friends. So, do you all have any instances where you found like, oh, this person is there for me and I know I can do it?
So when I was in junior KG, right, I had this huge problem. I had stage fright. And the annual day, Viva as we call it, was coming up. And I was really tensed. I could not memorize my dialogues. My face expressions were not on point. And I was really scared of performing in front of a large audience. There were a lot of things, but my junior KG class teacher, she really helped me out there. She put in those extra 5 minutes to make sure that, everything is on point. And when the day of the annual day came about, I think it was one of the most wonderful experiences of my life. Nerve-wracking, yes, but also brilliant. And I think that was really good.
That's absolutely wonderful to hear, because we all need that one, light of guidance for us. What about you?
Like he mentioned that his teacher has been his constant light of support. I think for me as well, I remember an instance in the first grade where we were just introduced to spellings. And I remember my teacher asking the class to spell the word apple. And I remember knowing how to spell it, but I was so scared to raise my hand and answer in class, because I've always had this fright that what if I answer something incorrectly, and what if my friends look down upon me or see me as someone who doesn't know how to spell. But I remember one day my teacher actually pulled me out of class and asked me that, are you afraid to answer in class? Because you're active otherwise, but you just don't answer in class. And I told her, yes, I'm afraid of failing. And that's when she told me, if you believe in yourself and if you have people like me who believe in you, you can do anything. And she taught me that it is completely okay to fail. And I think that is something that I have been telling my friends as well, that, it's okay to answer. And I'm happy to say that because of me raising my hand and answering, I think people also have been encouraged to answer even if it is wrong.
That's why she answers so much in business.
The concept of it's okay to fail,
Yes.
it's such an important concept, because we are always pushed, to strive for greatness, for, to achieve great success, great things in life. On that note, let me share one personal anecdote. Recently, I would say my parents have been a huge help. So, like I mentioned before, I haven't been dancing a lot. 2 months or 2.5 months back, approximately, I injured my knee to the extent that my physiotherapist said, okay, you cannot dance anymore. And for a child who loves dancing, a teenager who has grown up dancing, it was obviously emotionally draining. The moment I got out of the doctor's office, I've called my parents. I've been like, they told me I can't dance anymore. And then, they're like, it's okay. I know you can do it. We'll get the best of the doctors for you. We'll go everywhere, but you cannot stop dancing. One thing, they saw my passion for it. And second thing, I love how they challenge the traditional notion of not supporting the performing arts. Like, they supported it, and I'm so happy about it and so grateful for it. And apart from that, my friends, 100%, like Meher, for instance, she called me 5 minutes before landing up at my house. She's like, I'm coming, keep the gate open. And another one of my friend, a very close friend of mine, she helped me so much to get through these tough times. And I feel like if you have people like them in your life, you don't need anyone else. You need their support, their guidance, and, just live through it, honestly. What about you?
I completely agree. I've also had a strong support system of my parents and my friends. I have this one specific memory, in which was in the beginning of 9th grade, which was right after lockdown ended. So we were all transitioning into offline school, and everything was, it was really hard for us to get back to the normal routine. And I remember I was being very lazy and I didn't want to work, and I wasn't in the habit of studying again. So then it was the first time I actually failed a subject. And I remember I was crying to it about my mom, and of course both my parents were supportive, but they were very disappointed in me. But then I remember my 9th grade class teacher, she during the PTM, she actually consoled my parents, like, I know she can do better, she will buck up when it's needed. And she really believed in me when I thought I'm never coming back from failing again. And that made me believe in myself, and I worked harder, and then I was better at studies again.
That's lovely to hear. Because as a generation where, we are aiming for a lot, we are doing multiple things, we are studying, we are doing extracurriculars, this support is important.
For me, I think as a student of science, right, I came into the 8th grade, I saw my science textbook, 200 pages thick. I was like, what? Then I came into the 10th grade, 500 pages thick. And now that I'm in AS, it's 700 pages thick. So, and the number of pictures, they just keep reducing. But I feel this is wrong because the way we approach science has to change. We should actually embrace the practical aspect of science more. And of course, learning the theory is very important, but just learning theory is wrong. You need to know how to apply that. And that is one thing that I would like to change.
I so agree with you on that because education can help an individual reach areas where it won't be possible to someone without education, maybe. And I feel like if you merge education along with performing arts, nothing like it. Like, I think by now it's established that I love performing, especially dance. So, if you were to ask me, I would definitely say one impact I would like to make is make sure that each child follows their passion for the performing arts if they have it. If they don't, they are always welcome to come and explore it. I was super fortunate to be able to teach younger kids at my dance company, ages 4 through 12 approximately. And I want to take that experience and build upon it. I want to tie up with NGOs. I want to make sure that, those young kids who cannot afford accessing dance classes because it's too expensive or, school timings, for it to be accessible for them. And the dance forms that I do, for example, jazz, ballet, they aren't quite accessible in India as of now. And if a child can find their passion for that, then nothing like it. And scholarships, pure scholarships for dance schools, dance classes, or education in general, great help. What about you, Meher?
So, for me, right now, I believe that one of the main things we should be looking at is the future. We need to make sure that there is sustainability because we are going to be out in the world someday, and we need to not only think of our future, we need to think of the other generations that will come after us. So, and while India, especially Mumbai, has been doing great with sustainability these days, we've come a long way with recycling and reusing. And I read an article that said that just in the last few years, Mumbai alone has recycled more than 20,000 tons of plastic and paper waste. And however, I believe there is still not much awareness that's present. And these numbers, although they're quite large, they don't account for everything. And especially things like clothes. For Mumbai, we have such a consumerist society where we all have so many clothes. And I believe that when we're throwing them away, they have better use. So me, my family, and we've influenced all of our family, friends, and everybody to support NGOs that support this cause. Like, for example, there is this NGO called Goonj. Okay, so what they do is that they take all of these scraps of clothes and these, torn clothes, they repair them and they use the scraps for, stuffing blankets, and they give them to people in rural areas, especially in northern India where there's a lot of harsh winters. And that has really helped, the rural aspect of India where they're working towards a better place for everybody.
This is such a lovely thought, whoever it was brought up by, because this shows how we are taking advantage of our current economical society and how it is towards helping people rather than, just focusing on capitalism. It truly surprises us.
So I'll have to say there's no definite answer to this.
Yes.
Because while there are people losing jobs because of AI, it's also creating a lot more. So while there was the DeepSeek case where some creators' personal artwork was being used, there were deep fakes and everything. while that is the limitation of AI, while used right, it is also a great tool, especially with this upcoming field of using AI technology. There's so many people who are getting jobs just to code AI, train AI, work with AI. So I think there's no definite answer to this.
I completely agree. I completely concur with what Meher just said.
And I feel all of this needs to start at the school level if you want to understand how AI develops. Like, I think our school, like Vibgyor, allows us AI programs and robotics programs. Yeah, which is so beneficial. Like, I remember when I was in grade 8, we were not recently, like 4 years back, we were introduced to artificial intelligence. We were introduced to the basic components of it so that we can understand how it works, how there are so many developing opportunities, and I feel AI just merges with all fields of careers. Don't you all agree?
Correct. And you're absolutely right that if you want to exploit AI correctly, you have to start very young. Because once you can grasp the power and the limitations of AI when you're young, it's going to be a smooth journey for you. So as you said, our school has actually started to integrate robotics as well into the VSPA, that is the Sports and Performing Arts section of school.
Okay. Do you know more about it?
Yes, so actually my younger sister, who's in the 6th grade, has now more knowledge about AI than you.
So I think it always starts with young minds, and then, they educate other people. And especially in our school, I think there are so many possibilities of us being able to implicate what we learn, especially if we say AI and business. I remember, I think, last year there was an Entrepreneur Day activity.
We were so basically it was on World Entrepreneur Day, and we were entrepreneurs for the day. So we had to open up our own business in school. It was a PTM day for primary, and we were divided in 3 groups, and we all had to open our own cafes. So and it was obviously very fun. We got to interact with people. We got a lot of exposure that we wouldn't have gotten through textbooks only. And it was very fun. We got actual experience, and we did use AI in that too. A lot of ideas, a lot of the logo designing and the names and everything. Overall, it was a very enriching experience.
I feel like practicality is what drives us.
Yes.
Practicality is what is needed, because yes, you can rote learn, you can go through thousands of pages, but then at the end, if you don't implement that in real life, what's the point? And AI has genuinely helped, because if, again, comparing traditional and modern society, in traditional society, yes, you used to rote learn, but then you used to take time thinking, oh, how can I, incorporate this into the real world? Or how do I, how can I use it in real life? But right now, if we have doubts about what we want to do, if we have doubts about how it's going, we can just use AI and get it over with.
Yes.
So yeah.
Absolutely right.
Perfect. With that, we come to the end of the podcast, and thank you so much for watching.